So you came on Sunday, heard a good sermon, sure seemed like you really were learning, but that was days ago. And since that time, you've watched a lot of shows, heard a lot of news, read a lot of photo captions, maybe a book or two. You got the information overload blues, made you forget the good news, need to remember the good news. So let's check up, pull up a chair for the midweek checkup now.
Welcome to the Midweek Checkup. My name is Lindsey Blair and I'm here with Gilles. Pastor Jonah Sage preached from 1 Kings chapter 17 this past Sunday, verses 1 through 16.
Jonah said that if God says it, he will do it. Now, if you missed the sermon or need help remembering, you're in just the right spot because it's time for the midweek checkup.
Jonah began by saying that Elijah announced that a drought would come because of decades of sin. Elijah calls down a judgment that will affect him too. Elijah is not exempt from the effects of this. As long as humans live in a world of limitations and consequences, we will experience brutal realities. Sometimes waiting for God to do it will be painful, if not physically, certainly emotionally.
Yet God provides miraculous food in this story, blessing the widow of Zarephath. God promises to make a way, so Elijah is sent to a widow. She has nothing left, literally on the verge of death by starvation. And this is God's miraculous provision. Did you notice? She is not expecting him. She didn't know she was God's provision. She didn't know she was in on the plan. Here's a big difference between God and most of our earthly leaders. When something good happens, earthly leaders lift themselves up. Truly godly leaders don't want the spotlight. They want God.
The widow does just what Elijah says, and what Elijah says happens. Can you imagine how clarifying this could be for you to follow in Elijah's steps? Love your enemies. That's it. Do that. Pray for those who persecute you. Do that. Do you see how simple? It doesn't have to be nearly as complicated as we make it. If God says it, he will do it, so follow him.
Well, what kind of God would use ravens, streams, and widows to feed a prophet? Well, the same God who would be revealed as a child, heal as a doctor, suffer as a servant, die like a criminal, and be raised like a king. You won't necessarily see God's provision coming. It may not be obvious, but that doesn't mean it isn't coming.
That's right. If God says it, he will do it. This Sunday, we will continue our series on the fall of the house of David, and in Bible Fellowship, we'll discuss the book of Job. Join us and bring a friend.